there, everybody. Welcome to episode number 344 of It'll Be Fine. I'm your friend and your pal, Kelly Zemnickis. And as we do each week on the show, along with my guest, we dive into a recipe that neither of us has ever made before, but we go forward with the confidence that it is going to be fine. And on today's show, we are making cherry clafoutis. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm really kind of charmed by the word clafoutis. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And on today's show, I am baking alongside a comedian that I've gotten to know during the pandemic, doing stuff online. And she is a fabulous comic, I believe out of Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, with a most interesting job background. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get into this, what this woman has been up to. She is hilarious. She brought this recipe to me. Buffy Canter is my guest today. So let's get started, man. It's gonna be fine. Clafoutis. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I love that fridge.
Thanks. This is not my place. I borrowed it from a friend because I've got a 100-pound dog. I have a husband whose office is off of the kitchen. I have a teenager at home. So I have this fun, she's an art teacher at a high school and she lent me her place.
Yes.
So.
Well, points to her kitchen. That's a gorgeous kitchen.
Yeah. So yeah, it fit the vibe of the whole, thing. So I was psyched. She was vintage stove.
Oh my gosh.
Really
Oh my.
Yeah, I wish this was my kitchen.
I'm gonna have to book her for future episodes. This is great. How's your day going?
It's okay. I worked in the morning and then I got, cracking with this recipe, prepping the recipe. So I'm really excited.
I love this recipe. And usually on the show, like I'm the person to bring the recipe to the guest. Every now and then the guest brings one to me. What sort of, because you brought this one my way, what piqued your interest about this dish that I call a clafoutis, but I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I think it's clafoutis is the official,
Okay, thank you.
thing. So it's summer and I've always wanted to make this dish. And I think it's kind of my effort to hold on to summer too, because it's like classic French summer dish, The only problem is I didn't realize this dish has pits in it, like you're eating pits.
Can I just say this for those watching on YouTube, as you would be, this is from Mad About Macaroons or macaron.com. I'm assuming the woman who wrote this, Jill, is also a dentist, because is she needing new clients? Is that why it's recommended you keep the pits? No, Jill, I took mine out.
Oh, you did? You pitted it. Okay. So there's a theory behind this pit thing. And if you leave it in, it imparts a nuttier flavor. And I think because it's like a country dish, like people go get the fruit from wherever in France, because it's from France.
Right.
I think they're just kind of sitting around eating this like fruit, and they don't care if they're spitting pits out in front of their, their family members. They do this they go away every year. But yeah, so I decided to leave the pit in because I was interested in imparting the nutty flavor.
I recently, yesterday, had to go to the dentist because I've cracked a filling. So I took the pits out.
Smart.
I wasn't down to do it, but I love that we've got two different variations on it. I wish I was in your kitchen so I could try it, but I'm just gonna trust you on how you feel about it later. For friends, if friends watching, if you haven't already done so, please turn on your ovens to an array of temperature options. 180 degrees Celsius, 160 degrees Celsius with a fan, or 360 degrees Fahrenheit gas number 4. What did you pick?
I picked the American Fahrenheit. I picked 360 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, no, I did that as well. If you're ever baking a recipe by like Jamie Oliver or Gordon Ramsay, they tend to keep their temperatures in Celsius. So I'm just going to remind everyone watching to do the conversion because your thing will come out weird. Anyhow, this is a pretty simple dish. I think top to bottom, this should take us about 35, 40 minutes or so, given the oven. Every oven is different and will bake at a different temperature. But what we're going to do to begin is you're going to get either a oven-proof china dish or a Pyrex, whatever you got going. You want to get a bit of butter, grease this up nicely, and then we're going to dash about a teaspoon of sugar and knock it all around. So that'll be step number 1. Are you a household that bakes a lot?
I'm not very exacting. I'm not a very good baker. There's people in my family that are very good bakers. I feel constricted by a recipe sometimes, and with baking, if you don't do it, the exact way, of course, it's not going to come out well. Unlike cooking, not baking, chefing, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel more myself with non-baking recipes.
I did that. Now, the name of this show is It'll Be Fine. So I like the idea of playing around with my baking, just trusting my gut. But you're right. Usually baking way more scientific, way more sticking to plan. But you can fuck around with it. You can. I promise. You can do it, friends. All right. Here is my dish. Boom. Oh, lovely. Ta-da, ta-da. All right. Next up, we are going to take those cherries. Make sure you wash and dry them. Always wash and dry your fruits and veggies, friends. And we're going to put these into this. I think just kind of spread it around the bottom. There's no real set pattern to it.
I was surprised by the recipe too. The fact that there's not that much flour and there's not that much. I was really surprised. I guess it's really just a coating, right, of the fresh fruit. The highlight is the fruit, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised by that too. I had to look again and be like, oh, it's just 2 tablespoons of flour? Okay. If you say so. All right. So we've got this done. This is looking gorge.
It is looking gorge.
Looking gorgeous. Lovely. As Julia Child used to say, gorge. She did not. That's beautiful. Okay. I do love the look of the full fruit. I'm not gonna lie. It does look really pretty. It does look really pretty. All right. What we are going to do next is in a bowl. Get your bowls handy. This is also a recipe with not too many bowls, which I appreciate. Baking usually has a high bowl count. This one's not too bad. All right. Our flour, and again, you don't need too much flour. I think it's about 6 tablespoons. It's really not a heck of a lot. You want baking powder for this one, not soda. Powder. Baking powder. Boom, a little bit of that. You want to take your salt. For this, it recommends fleur de sel. So a little more of a crunch to it. Not kosher salt, which will kind of distribute a little bit more evenly. So you want to add your salt to that. And what else do we need? And your sugar. Boom. All right. So we're going to mix that with what I don't know what a balloon whisk is. Do you know?
I think it's standard, right?
Is it standard? That's what I have.
Yeah, yours looks, yeah. balloony.
Yeah. All right. So I've never heard it called a balloon whisk before.
I haven't either.
I feel like I'm going to need to have a talk with Jill. I have a lot of questions. Every now and then when I post these, the person who's made the recipe will share it on their socials or send me a comment. Jill, if you're watching this, please DM me. I'm curious. I'm curious as heck. Okay. Then what we are going to do is add in our eggs. Take a note of this. You need 4 whole eggs and 1 lone yolk. What did you do, Buffy, with your egg whites from the lone yolk?
I did not save it.
I didn't either, actually. Did you grow up in a home where you were in the kitchen a lot of cooking or baking happening? Oh, Buffy froze. She'll be back. She's very inquisitive right now.
Yeah, so this subject is kind of so my mom was an urbanite. She's there from New York City. She always said her oven would make a great filing cabinet. She is she does not cook. You'd always find something. She's like, I'm a nice person, but you might find a Band-Aid in the salad. Or she does not cook. She did not cook at all, but she slopped stuff together like oatmeal, potato chips, and tuna fish. And we like, what are we eating? She's like, this is a very old recipe from early America. It's called poya. So then we caught on that she was just kind of spinning it. She was putting her like spin on it. So then I started cooking just for survival.
Yeah, all this mixture here. Before we get to the milks and the creams, I basically just want to make sure this is smooth, kind of like when you do a pancake batter. You want to get out as many lumps as you can. Although some lumps are fine. Appreciate your lumps, everyone. That's what I say. Love those lumps. Okay. I think I'm pretty good. I won't show what this mixture looks like because it looks kind of gross, to be totally honest with you. But we are next going to add in some milk. I have some in a cup right here. And you want a heavy cream or a whipping cream. Call different things in different countries, but basically a higher fat content of cream. In a pinch, half and half would work, but if you can get something a bit thicker, that would be awesome. And then we need to add in our vanilla, which actually we should have done before, but I forgot. And my favorite part of this, you can either add in a liqueur or almond extract. I had the almond extract, so.
Me too. I wanted kirsch. That's okay.
I know. Sometimes, if you don't drink it on the regular, I mean, I know the stuff keeps, but I'd rather just use almond extract. All right. This batter is looking beautiful. I'm just going to move my camera so I can show this here. So that's what my batter's looking like. It's looking pretty good.
Looking good.
Yeah. Nice.
Good to introduce kids. And then when you have a picky eater, then it's tough. Yeah. I didn't have picky eaters, which was good. I had judgy eaters.
Oh.
Yeah, like not enough lemon in the vinaigrette. I'm thinking like, you're lucky you got fed. But not picky eaters. They would try anything. So I was lucky.
Apparently, when my brother and I are 4 years apart, and apparently when he was born, I became slightly picky. I think I was judgy that there was another human in the house, probably. But my mom used to make like my food in shapes, so I would eat it.
Okay. Yeah.
I've stopped that thing. All right. So I'm ready to go. My dish is here. Buffy's is there. Into the oven for approximately 35 minutes. You don't want a lot of jiggle to this. You want it to be set, nicely browned. Here we go. All right. And remember to set your timers, everyone.
Yeah.
I love a quick dessert.
that it can go wrong if the flan is not, the perfect, la-di-da, the perfect temperature, the perfect. So
Yes. I am a baker, any kind of cook that every now and then I will poke open the oven door to check in on how it's doing. Because we're dealing with like an egg dish, definitely don't recommend doing this. Leave that door closed. Look through the window if you can. Just don't touch it. Curious to know, how did you get started in comedy? And given what you do for a living, do you find it a sort of like brain release from the stress of your day job, or is it I'm just curious.
I got into it during the pandemic.
No way. Okay.
Yeah. And as a bereavement tool, I don't mean to bring anything down, but my mom passed, and I thought, okay, I'm in a pandemic, I'm grieving, and I've always I did musical theater as a kid, and I come from a very funny family. So everyone bonds by kind of kicking it with humor and this and that. Yeah. And so I just started it to kind of, why not a pandemic thing? And I fell in love with it, and I became obsessed with it. And I met great people from everywhere, like you and other people. And it just was so inspiring, and to come together with like-minded people who share the same love. It's just like a bonding thing. And it was also seeing how different people from different parts of the world and different parts of the country share their humor, or what their humor is like.
Definitely.
To me.
Yeah.
In my work, it's always nice to have a stress reliever.
Yeah.
And, I'd never want to make fun of any of my patients. Definitely not. But sometimes life, is funny. And, and sometimes they can find humor in it too. So it's always without putting them down or making things, meaning. Sometimes humor is useful.
Absolutely. Now, given what you do, are you still working in? Explain for the viewers what your job is.
Yeah. So I'm a clinical psychologist. I've been like more research primarily before, and I did some cooking. So cooking and psychology were always neck and neck.
I like that. Yeah.
Food writer for a while. So, and then what I realized was I liked being in kitchens because it's a semi-psychiatric environment. I mean, there's stress, the chefs, their inner thing comes out, everyone's yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Intensity is fascinating because it's just, so I think I gravitated towards that partially because of that, because it was so interesting. But yeah, so I'm a psychologist, and then I've worked in prisons. Right now I'm doing work with veterans. So I work with people who come back and are, various, ailments because of war or just the military in general, or adjustment, or very large, like.
Oh, hot dog. So is mine.
I'm wondering if it's going to fall.
I think it will. Because what I've made, there's a Finnish thing I make called panukaku, which is a baked pancake. It rises so high, and then within a few minutes it deflates. So I think it might be the same kind of shtick. So 2, 1, Happy New Year. Okay, let's do it. All right. Okay, everyone. Let's see. Oh, she's so pretty.
Wow.
That's fun. Buffy?
Yours looks good.
So does yours. Oh my gosh. Oh, this smells amazing. I'm giving a little shake. I don't have much of a jiggle, so that's good. The recipe doesn't mention the jiggly bits, but it's kind of a good rule if your egg hasn't baked yet. Oh, this looks so good. I'm gonna compare with mine here. Oh, look at that, friends.
Flan, but it's not flanny. It's kind of,
it's Clafoutis. Which
Clafoutis.
to me, Clafoutis sounds like just in my head, I hear the tequila song like Clafoutis.
Yeah, Clafoutis. It's wild. Okay, I'm seeing the flan.
All right. I've got my slice done here, nice and fresh out of the stove. Look at that, Buffy. It's looking beautiful.
So well, mine is more like not as cut as mine didn't hold as much as yours.
Okay, that's fair.
Mine sort of
Yeah, no sweat. What it might do as it cools down is it'll get more intact. I chose a very tiny spoon. What is this? Okay. Anyway, I'm going for it. All right. Watch your teeth, girl. Okay.
you know this thing's gonna hold a lot of heat, I think too.
Oh, damn, that's good. Oh. Mm. Oh, I'm getting goosies. I like this. This is good. Yeah,
Okay, I tried
I like it.
the pitted cherry. I'm now going for the flan part.
Mm-hmm. The flan part is delicious.
Not
It's super good. And with the way I did it with mine pitted and I cut them up, I'm getting like a few more bites of the cherry with it, but it's beautiful.
summery, puts me in the kind of, for me it's I don't want this summer to end.
Oh, I hear ya. I hear ya. And it's a nice dish. Even though you don't want summer to end, I feel like this is a nice like going into August, September vibe because it's like light, but it's warming and it's comforting. And this would be good with a lovely French champagne.
Yes. And do you think that the kirsch would have made a like big difference? Do you think it would have or just would have been kind of like another, French
It
boozy?
would probably I think, just increase the cherries. I think it would bump up the cherry flavor a little bit. And maybe give you just like, yeah, there would be a level of flavor that would kick it up a notch, I think, rather than what we did with the extract. But I like what we use, so
It's good.
I'm good. But it holds together really nicely. It's just delicious and light and comforting and awesome. Like you, Buffy. You're like this dessert.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. You might crack your tooth on it, but there's a mission. You got to avoid the date.
It'll be fine.